Day 638, 22 for 22. Good morning. I hope this finds you well. Please stay in your fight and do not quit. All right, so I've been doing a draw upon your military training to get yourself out of the hole series. We're on part 3. This might be the last part. Not sure. Got to follow my own rule here. Got to plan it better. So today we're going to just talk about the things that we don't necessarily think about when we're out. Simply because it's not something that we normally would consider. All of us have a skill set. Some of us have a stronger skill set than others when it comes to some of these things, just due to the nature of the job. Now, we can look at life like a land navigation course, somewhat at least. You have the course that you have your area that you're supposed to move through to get through your life. And along that way, unless you're in a desert, and even then there's pitfalls out there, you got to get from point A to point whatever, and that's your decision. But you can you got to pull out your mental map, protractor, and compass, and think about where you want to go, how you're going to get there, and plan that route the best you can. Do a map recon, looking at what you got there, and look at the contour lines and say, yeah, I think I can maneuver that. But you never know. You might get to that as you move along that course. You might get to that point that you think you can maneuver, and all of a sudden, wham! It's a cliff, or it's impassable due to the vegetation. That happens. Look at Panama, Vietnam. So you gotta be able to adapt and overcome, and be able to box around those obstacles in your life. And that's where you're at now. If you're sitting on the edge of that cliff, you got to box around this obstacle or bust through it. And so there's one tool that you can use, and this might be just a proverbial map, compass, and protractor, but it is a skill that you can utilize as far as your thought process to get out of that trouble or to plot that route. You have your troop leading procedures, all these things that are designed to help you get what you need to get done, and using the assets around you. I need my wife to do A, B, and C. I need my oldest kid to do D, E, and F. I need me to do G, H, and I. And it's just however that list comes to fruition for you, to be able to get things done for yourself. And if you're on your own, all those letters or all those troop leading procedures lay down on you. You've got to handle them, and you're going to get different things that come across that you got to work through. You've got to go fight S1 or S2 or S4 especially for supply. There's so many different ways we can look at this and use that mindset that we had when we were feeling good about ourselves, or at least had a purpose and knew what we were at least thought we knew what we were doing, and go from there. I bet you that big eye thing becomes the screenshot. But there's so many things in our skill sets that you think about this. If you're under attack in your own mind, if it was the same situation on the ground, what were you going to do? Are you going to just die in place? Is that the order? I don't think so. That's very not often what they call for from higher. Not anymore anyway. Maybe back in Korea, World War II, die in place. And maybe it would be expected again in a major confrontation with Russia or China. But the bottom line is, you wouldn't just stand there and take it. You do something about it, even if it was advancing in the other direction, just to get out from underneath the hail of fire that you're under. and be able to flank around and do these other maneuvers, or even call for fire. You know, all your brothers and sisters, have them call for fire. You call for fire, and I'm sure somebody will be there to help. So, you know, and if you are planning that route out, you know, even if it is, like I said, in advancing in the other direction, you have, especially nowadays, those computer systems that follow your front line of troops and all this other stuff. You plan your exfil. You plan, you know, where you're going to go. You plan where your assembly area is going to end up at the end of this attack. You're going to reconsolidate, reorganize. And sometimes that we got to do. And I did not do any of this when I was in my hole. It was simply brain lock of this sucks. And I'm here to tell you that that's a bad place to be, and I'm trying to give as best ideas I can come up with to try to get people not to get stuck in that brain lock and think the only way out is offing yourself, because that's certainly the worst case scenario and should not be taken unless there's absolutely no other choice. Actually, it should not even be a consideration. But there's so many tools that we have been given, whether you're a grunt or you're a truck driver, or whether you are a operator in a destroyer's CIC, or air crew on any sort of aircraft, or a helicopter with the Coast Guard, or a cutter. You know, there's you have to plan your work in all these organizations, otherwise people do die. And it goes the same thing with the suicide thing. If we don't plan how to get out of trouble, we're going to die, because we don't see any other options, and there are plenty of options. I'm telling you, you just got you may have exhausted 30, but there's at least 35 left. And there's just, I mean, some of you are in a tight bind, and it's going to take dropping further down and hitting the absolute bottom before you can climb up. And that's just retreating that's advancing in the other direction. That's all it is. It's looking for a new way to climb up. And you got to have the hope that that's going to happen. It's the same thing when you're on the battlefield. You hope that A-10's coming in. You hope that naval gunfire, if you're close enough to shore and is able to get it, was coming in. You hope that Bone was coming in to drop the 500-pound JDAM in support of you. You know, there's so many different things that we have to look at it in the same mentality, because we are at war inside our head. And don't pull out any stops, because the war ain't over. All right, so I'm gonna call it time now. My push-up guy ain't out here. And it's cold. I don't know if you can see my breath, but it's chilly for here, so I don't blame anybody for saying Dad's on his own this morning. So I have my YouTube channel, that_push-up_guy tough. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I also have my Facebook page, From the Edge to Thriving. Please like that page. Follow for positive messages in these videos. Feel free to share from there. Also, I post in 26 veterans Facebook groups. If you would, please share from there. If you can find it. If you can't share from there, come to From the Edge to Thriving and share from there. I also do Instagram at that push-up guy or that oily guy, depends on which one's signed on there. And my Twitter page is at Guy Pushup. I try to get a video on there. Sometimes it does not work. I'm still finding issues with Twitter. But anyway, I thank you for watching. And if you need help, you seek help. Get it from friends, family, professionals. There's absolutely no shame or weakness in seeking help. None at all. Do what you got to do to be here. Bottom line is, do not use suicide as a permanent solution to a temporary or permanent problem. You got this. We'll see you here tomorrow. Tough out.